Meet Emma, a young, successful CEO whose life turned upside down after a car accident left her wheelchair-bound. Once confident and independent, she now struggles with daily life and feels all hope is lost. But sometimes help comes from the most unexpected place. Max, a humble mechanic, arrives with the skills and kindness that will change everything. Watch as a simple repair sparks a journey of courage, resilience, and newfound freedom, proving that hope can appear when you least expect it. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's get started. Emma sat silently in her penthouse apartment, staring out at the New York skyline. The city below bustled with life, but she felt removed from it, trapped within the confines of her own body. Just months ago, she had been the epitome of success. A 28-year-old CEO of a tech startup, commanding boardrooms and leading a team of talented professionals. Life had been fast-paced, thrilling, and full of promise. Now, after a terrible car accident left her wheelchair-bound, those promises felt distant and impossible. Every glance at the city reminded her of the freedom she had lost, amplifying her despair. Her mornings were the hardest. The simple act of getting out of bed became a painstaking routine. Emma's apartment, once a symbol of her achievements, now felt like a gilded cage. The walls seemed to close in, and the quiet hum of the city outside mocked her immobility. Friends tried to visit, but she often found herself avoiding them, ashamed of her vulnerability. The thought of needing help for basic tasks made her feel powerless, a stark contrast to the independence she had once taken for granted. The freedom she had enjoyed was now a distant memory. Work, once a source of joy and accomplishment, now only brought frustration. Emma's tech startup demanded her attention, but meetings had become exhausting. Video calls replaced boardroom discussions, yet even that proved challenging. She struggled with fatigue, both physical and emotional. Emails piled up. Decisions required her attention, but she often felt too drained to respond. Her team was supportive, yet she sensed their hesitation to push her, fearing they might overwhelm her. The CEO she had once been seemed to vanish with each passing day, replaced by a version of herself she barely recognized. Sleep offered no relief. Nights were filled with restless thoughts and a constant replay of the accident. Emma would close her eyes, hoping for peace, but the images of the crash haunted her. She remembered the screeching tires, the sudden impact, and the overwhelming silence that followed. Pain had been constant, both physical and emotional, and even now, months later, the memory lingered. She often cried herself to sleep, though no one saw. Vulnerability was a luxury she had never indulged in before. Each tear felt like a release and a reminder of the life she had lost. Emma's social life dwindled quickly. Invitations to events and gatherings went unanswered, and friends gradually stopped asking. She felt disconnected from the world she once navigated effortlessly. Every public outing was a challenge. Navigating sidewalks, taxis, and crowded restaurants tested her patience and stamina. The isolation was suffocating. She longed for connection but feared judgment, pity, or misunderstanding. Even familiar places seemed daunting now. The bustling streets of New York, which had once energized her, now felt like obstacles she could not overcome. The city's vibrancy only highlighted the limitations imposed on her. Frustration became a daily companion. Emma hated relying on others for tasks she had once done herself. Something as simple as opening a jar or moving from room to room required assistance. She resented her own body for betraying her, for taking away independence she had never questioned before. The struggle was not just physical, but deeply emotional. Every day was a test of patience and resilience. She wanted to reclaim her life but didn't know how. The wheelchair, though necessary, symbolized the stark reality of her new existence, a constant reminder of limitations she had never faced before. Financial success offered no comfort. Emma had wealth, influence, and resources at her disposal, yet none of it could undo what had happened. Luxury apartments, fine dining, and expensive treatments could not heal her despair. She realized that her achievements, once her pride, felt hollow now. The world continued to move around her, but she remained stuck. She envied strangers on the street who walked freely, oblivious to the struggles she faced. Money could not buy mobility or hope. It only emphasized what she had lost. The realization deepened her sadness, making her feel more isolated despite her status. Memories of her past life haunted her constantly. She recalled the late nights at the office, the excitement of launching new projects, and the thrill of signing big contracts. Those days seemed like a distant dream. Now her apartment echoed with silence, a stark contrast to the busy, vibrant life she once led. She missed spontaneity, the ability to leave her office, meet friends, or travel without limitations. The small freedoms she had ignored before now felt like luxuries. Her identity, once tied to achievement and independence, seemed to slip away with each passing day, leaving emptiness in its wake. Despite despair, a small spark of determination lingered. Deep down, Emma refused to surrender completely to hopelessness. She thought of her startup, her dreams, and the life she had built from scratch. Somewhere beneath the sadness and frustration was a part of her that remembered resilience. That part, however small, reminded her that life could still hold surprises. Perhaps recovery was possible, though she didn't yet see the path. For now, that spark was a fragile ember, flickering against the overwhelming darkness of her situation. She clung to it silently, waiting for a sign, a chance, a glimmer of hope. Emma's life, once a thrilling journey of ambition and freedom, had come to a halt. Each day was a repetition of frustration, pain, and isolation. Yet even in the midst of despair, life had a way of nudging her forward. Little did she know, her story was about to take an unexpected turn. Someone from an unlikely background would enter her life, offering not just assistance, but a renewed sense of possibility. That moment, unplanned and unforeseen, would challenge her limitations and slowly guide her back to hope, one small step at a time. Emma's life began to change the day Max arrived. A humble, 35-year-old mechanic, he was hired to fix a minor problem with her wheelchair. Expecting a routine repair, Emma was initially indifferent, her mind clouded with frustration and hopelessness. Max, however, didn't see just a broken device. He saw her struggle, her determination hiding behind despair, and the untapped potential to reclaim her independence. From the moment he entered her apartment, his calm confidence and genuine kindness subtly shifted the air around her, creating a space where hope could begin to grow. Max examined the wheelchair with meticulous attention, pointing out areas that could be enhanced. Unlike other technicians, he offered practical solutions, rather than merely fixing the immediate issue. Emma watched skeptically, unsure whether small modifications could make a real difference. Yet Max spoke with quiet assurance, explaining each adjustment and its purpose. His tone wasn't condescending, it was encouraging. Slowly, curiosity replaced doubt. For the first time in months, Emma felt a spark of engagement. The idea that her wheelchair could become more than a tool of limitation intrigued her, igniting a faint glimmer of hope. The first test was cautious. Max guided Emma through minor movements, adjusting the chair and her positioning for better control. Each movement, though small, was a victory. Emma's muscles, unused for months, protested, but Max's patience made each effort manageable. He reminded her that progress was measured in inches, not leaps, emphasizing consistency over perfection. Emma found herself following his instructions, her frustration mingling with excitement. With each successful maneuver, she felt a sense of empowerment returning. It was a sensation she hadn't experienced since the accident, a reminder that limitations were not absolute and that change was possible with effort and guidance. Over the next few days, Max returned with more tools and ideas. He introduced adaptive devices that allowed Emma to engage her upper body strength, strengthening muscles that had weakened during her recovery. Each session challenged her physically, but Max's encouragement made it bearable, even enjoyable. Emma noticed subtle improvements. She could adjust her chair independently, reach items she hadn't touched in months, and navigate her apartment with less effort. These small achievements, seemingly minor, rekindled her confidence. Max's dedication showed her that mobility wasn't just about hardware. It was about mindset, patience, and the willingness to confront limitations head-on. Their bond deepened through these sessions. Emma discovered that Max's life was simple, yet full of quiet wisdom. He shared stories of challenges he had overcome in his own youth, emphasizing resilience and the importance of maintaining hope. Emma listened intently, finding inspiration in his perspective. Max treated her not as someone broken, but as a capable individual learning to adapt. This approach contrasted sharply with the pity or hesitation she had often encountered. The atmosphere during their sessions was one of mutual respect, curiosity, and subtle humor, providing Emma with something she hadn't realized she was missing: connection and genuine support. Emma's confidence started to spill into other areas of her life. She returned to her virtual meetings with renewed focus, contributing actively and with energy that had been absent for months. She began scheduling short walks around her apartment, testing the limits of her enhanced wheelchair. The city outside no longer felt entirely unreachable. She envisioned herself navigating streets and parks again. Max's modifications had not only improved her mobility, but also reignited her sense of agency. For the first time since the accident, Emma felt like herself, capable, determined, and ready to reclaim aspects of her life that had seemed permanently lost. Challenges were inevitable. Some days, Emma's body resisted progress, her muscles stiff and uncooperative. Frustration would bubble up, threatening to undo the small victories she had achieved. Max remained a steady presence, reminding her that setbacks were part of the process, not failures. His patience and unwavering encouragement created a safe environment for Emma to confront her limitations without fear of judgment. Slowly, she internalized this mindset. Each obstacle became a learning opportunity rather than a defeat, reinforcing her determination. Emma began to realize that recovery was not linear, and that perseverance was often the key to meaningful change. By the third week, Emma's improvement was tangible. She could maneuver her chair with ease, reach higher shelves, and navigate her apartment confidently. Friends visiting her noticed the difference, commenting on her brightened demeanor and growing independence. Emma felt a deep sense of gratitude toward Max, not just for his mechanical skills, but for restoring her belief in herself. The relationship had evolved into something extraordinary, a partnership based on trust, respect, and shared victories. Each session left Emma physically tired but mentally invigorated, a testament to the transformative power of encouragement, innovation, and human connection. The progress also extended to Emma's mental health. She slept better, her thoughts no longer dominated by frustration and despair. The act of achieving small victories daily instilled a sense of accomplishment and control. Her mind began to plan beyond the immediate challenges, envisioning a future where she could resume activities she had once loved. Max's influence had provided not only technical support, but also emotional guidance, subtly teaching her that hope and action were intertwined. Emma's journey, though far from over, now had direction. She felt capable of dreaming again, empowered by the steady, patient support of someone who believed in her potential. Emma's family noticed the transformation as well. Calls with her parents and siblings were filled with laughter and optimism, rather than the silence and frustration of the past months. Max occasionally joined, offering technical advice and sharing in the small celebrations of progress. Emma's home became a space of energy and positivity, contrasting sharply with the isolation and despair of her early recovery. Each milestone, adjusting the chair independently, moving around the apartment, and practicing short walks, was celebrated. These moments reinforced the idea that life could still hold joy and purpose, even after adversity, as long as one had the right support and mindset. As the weeks turned into a month, Emma's life had been transformed subtly but profoundly. Max's interventions had opened doors she thought were permanently closed. More importantly, he had reminded her of her strength, determination, and resilience. The wheelchair was no longer a symbol of limitation, but a tool of empowerment. Emma's perspective on life, setbacks, and independence had shifted. She began to see challenges as opportunities, relying on her renewed confidence rather than fear. Max's presence was a constant reminder that hope often comes from unexpected places, and that the combination of skill, patience, and belief in another person can ignite remarkable transformations. Emma's transformation continued steadily, each day reinforcing the independence she had thought lost forever. The modifications Max made to her wheelchair, combined with her consistent effort, allowed her to navigate her apartment and nearby streets confidently. What had once seemed impossible, the simple act of leaving her building, feeling the wind on her face, walking short distances, became tangible realities. Every small step fueled her confidence. Emma's mind began to shift from despair to excitement about possibilities. She realized she was no longer defined by her accident, but by the courage and determination she demonstrated daily. Her journey of recovery was taking shape. Max encouraged her to explore activities she had once enjoyed. Emma, who loved visiting Central Park, decided to try it again. With Max by her side, she navigated the busy sidewalks, experiencing the city's energy with renewed appreciation. Birds chirped, children played, and street performers entertained passers-by, creating a vibrant backdrop for her first real adventure in months. Emma felt a sense of normalcy returning, yet it was deeper than before, a heightened awareness of gratitude and resilience. She realized that her independence was not just physical but emotional, a reclaiming of the joy she had thought permanently out of reach. The confidence gained in mobility spilled over into Emma's professional life. She returned to her startup with fresh energy, participating in high-stakes meetings and presenting new ideas with vigor. Her colleagues were inspired by her progress, noticing her determination and innovative mindset, which had grown stronger despite adversity. Emma discovered that challenges in one area of life could empower growth in others. The accident, while tragic, had taught her patience, empathy, and the value of persistence. Max's guidance had not only restored her physical capability, but also ignited leadership qualities that strengthened her personal and professional identity. Emma also strengthened her social connections. Friends who had drifted during her period of isolation returned, drawn by her renewed spirit. She invited them to her apartment, demonstrating her regained autonomy and enjoying shared laughter and conversation. Family visits were more frequent, filled with pride and admiration for her resilience. Emma no longer hid behind the walls of her apartment. Instead, she actively engaged with her support system. These relationships reminded her that recovery extended beyond physical strength. It involved emotional support, community, and shared joy. Every gathering reinforced her belief that life could be vibrant and fulfilling, despite past limitations. Challenges continued to appear, though less daunting than before. Emma experienced fatigue, occasional pain, and moments of self-doubt. Yet now, she approached these obstacles with strategy and perseverance. She documented progress, tracked improvements, and celebrated victories, however small. Max remained a mentor, encouraging her to set realistic goals and celebrate each achievement. Emma's mindset had shifted from one of helplessness to proactive problem-solving. She discovered a sense of empowerment that extended beyond mobility. Each day's effort reaffirmed her belief in progress and demonstrated the strength of resilience, patience, and determination, qualities she would carry forward in all aspects of life. Emma began exploring new opportunities she had once set aside. Traveling short distances, attending business events, and reconnecting with professional networks became achievable goals. Max accompanied her occasionally, providing support when needed, but encouraging independence whenever possible. Emma felt the exhilaration of regained autonomy, the ability to participate fully in life without constant dependence. These experiences reinforced her belief in adaptability and courage. She realized that life's unpredictability need not be paralyzing. With the right mindset and support, challenges could transform into opportunities for growth, connection, and achievement. Her perspective had evolved profoundly. Emma's personal life blossomed alongside her professional and social growth. She began engaging in hobbies she had abandoned, including photography and city exploration. Capturing New York streets and parks through her camera lens gave her joy and renewed purpose. Max, always supportive, celebrated her enthusiasm and growth, offering practical advice and sharing in her excitement. These moments strengthened her emotional well-being, offering creative outlets and building confidence. Emma realized that independence encompassed not just mobility, but also mental and emotional fulfillment. The accident, while life-altering, had led her to discover resilience, creativity, and a deeper appreciation for life's small joys. A turning point came when Emma attempted her first solo trip outside her neighborhood. Using her enhanced wheelchair, she navigated crowded streets, rode the subway, and visited Central Park alone. The experience was exhilarating and empowering, a testament to her progress and Max's guidance. She felt a profound sense of liberation, savoring every sensation, the sounds, smells, and motion of the city around her. This milestone symbolized more than mobility. It represented mastery over fear, frustration, and doubt. Emma realized she could reclaim her life fully, blending independence with gratitude for the support that had helped her rediscover herself. Emma's relationship with Max remained a source of inspiration. Beyond his technical skill, his patience, encouragement, and belief in her potential had transformed her life. Their bond evolved into a deep friendship rooted in mutual respect and shared victories. Emma understood that while recovery involved personal effort, having someone who believed in her abilities accelerated her growth. Max had not only restored physical independence, but also nurtured confidence and emotional resilience. Emma felt gratitude that extended beyond words. She had discovered the profound impact of compassion, mentorship, and partnership on her journey toward reclaiming her life. By the end of the recovery period, Emma was a changed woman. Her wheelchair no longer represented limitation, but empowerment. She could navigate the city independently, manage her professional responsibilities with confidence, and engage socially without hesitation. Each challenge she overcame reinforced the lessons of resilience, patience, and hope. Emma had transformed. Despair into action, isolation into connection, and vulnerability into strength. Max's presence had catalyzed this transformation, but it was Emma's determination that carried her forward. She had not only reclaimed her life, but had also discovered a deeper appreciation for the human spirit and the unexpected kindness that can change everything.